Hi, welcome to another posting of this mk2 Jaguar wide-body two-door coupe, which I've been working on for some time. I've not made a DVD for a time, with one thing or another that's been going on. It's not that I've been idle, as it were, but yeah, anyway, other stories. What have I been doing? Well, obviously it's been assembling, and I've been concentrating on the woodwork on the inside of the car, which I'll show you in a minute. Been somewhat struggling because I've never done veneering before, but we'll go through that. But I'll show you what I've done so far. I've covered a number of these things in previous videos of what I've already done and why I designed the way I did. So let's look at radiators, which I've put in. These came, or they should be, I should say, for a Honda Civic Type R. High flow radiators, there's a pair of them in there, as you can see, and as I explained in my previous video for this, is I needed obviously the surface area and a very little aperture for the radiator that was originally in them, which they did have overheating problems with the old XK unit, and I didn't think it would be much better with the AJ6 engine which I put in. So I was going to put a bigger aluminium cord radiator in, but I was going to lay it down, especially because I moved the engine 8 inches back from its mount position which it would have been in. But I couldn't lay it down because I still didn't have enough room, and so I made this V shape. And what happens is the air comes in through the front, so you've got a high pressure zone here, and then I don't know if you'll be able to see it, I'll try and get it there. You'll be able to see kind of like a box which covers the radiators. So what happens is the air goes in through there, gets into the box at the back. There's two fans at the back of these radiators, and then the box comes down here. So this is the box, and what happens is as this is coming through the air, this nose, this tip here, is slightly lower than the tail section, but it's at level of the subframe. And what happens, or the idea is, as this is travelling through the air, it creates a vacuum under here. And with the high pressure zone at the top and the low pressure zone at the bottom here, air will be drawn through and underneath and out of the car, underneath the car, trying to keep the engine bay cool. You've seen the brakes. Well, you can't see really much in there. You have to forgive the ramp creeping, but there you go. You can see the grey bracket. That's just a 3D printer bracket to see if the caliper and everything, my drawings was right for it going now. I've just got to find a manufacturer that can CNC me some brackets up from a 3D model I have. Anyway, not sure exactly if I've shown you the lights in on my previous video, but lights have been going in. Been working obviously on the inside as well. Let's see, gearbox cover, obviously staking everything, all the sound deadening in it, centre console section, steering wheel. Let me lower it down because there's nothing really to show underneath of what I've not already showed in my last video. You can see I've put the bonnet and the boot on. The bonnet and the boot still need to be cut and buffed. To get those right, you'll probably able to see. I won't show you just for embarrassment, but there's bits in it because I just don't have a spray booth, and it's very difficult just with a plastic cover. You can see there in background, trying to get anything like a good paint job. But the boot's on. The diffuser in the back, I don't think you're going to see it around much because it is painted gloss black, but you can see the exhaust outlet there. Same reason there, which I've described in another video, is there's a low pressure zone here created by the diffuser and the car cutting through the air, and so the idea was with the exhaust system I've made here, which is actually fishtail. If anybody knows about fishtail exhaust, it's a fishtail inside the box, which has got sound deadening material. I'm not sure if you can see it. Yeah, you can see the stainless steel mesh which I have in sections inside it. But anyway, inside, batteries in and mounted, fuel tank, water bottle for the windscreen wash. It's all wired up. So that's that done. I didn't show up brakes, but anyway, I think I've got them on the video. Competition pedal box there. This is my bias control, which is going to go on the dashboard there, so it mounts to the dashboard. Engine bay, get round here. Obviously been working on engine bay stuff in, so those obviously the master reservoirs for the clutch and the front and back brake set. Reinforcing bars, because when I moved the engine back at the 8 inches, I cut through the reinforcing brace, which goes from top of each air post, which is triangulated. On Mark II they've got a big bit of box section that runs down the inner wings either side, which triangulates from the front of the chassis leg up to the top of the air post on both sides, and then they have a box section which is part of the heater box runner for the air vents and everything. It come across to the back, but because I cut all the firewall out, that came out. So after I reinforce everything with the new tunnel and everything, I had to brace it back up. So these are the brackets. Expansion tank, I originally mounted it to the engine with the brackets, but I felt that all that water and then it jigging around in any way, shape or form would just weaken it, and it just wasn't a viable statement. So I refashioned it and I've mounted it over so it's independent of the engine. Airflow meter, just see there, and the airbox. I've got a K&N filter in there, as you can see, and the reason for it being like this is that any engine bay temperature that's there, I wanted to try and keep away. I didn't want to start cutting loads of holes in everything to try and take air from inside the wheel arch or anything like that. I wanted it to be clean, and so when the bonnet's down there's a gap that runs underneath here, so any air movement over here, idea is hopefully it will get into the airbox, so it won't be pulling as much warm air in, hopefully, as if I just had it open as the normal people do, just stick it in. I still have to finish piping the radiators up. The power steering, I've got an electronic hydraulic pump on for the power steering. That needs to be finished and piped off, but that's not a big deal. When I fitted the bonnet and the safety catch, when I come to fit the original one on, that's the original, I put it on, come to put the bonnet down, and as you can see there, that's where it's supposed to go in, so that will go in there and latch on inside there. Unfortunately, I got a radiator in the way. Sometimes when you're doing these things you think you've accounted for everything, and lo and behold you miss something so simple as that. And it wasn't a case of I'm going to take a big chunk out of the radiator and rejig all that. I thought, no, I'm not messing around with that, I'll see what I can do. So I made a new stainless steel catch. Does exactly the same job, and it looks nice as well because it's stainless steel. And that's about it really. Oh no, I said I'd show the veneering. So over here, this is veneering. I've had a right job here. I was going to send it away, but I thought no, I'm going to have a go and just see what I can do. Obviously because I've stretched the doors, all the woods on the doors or longer. I think the 7-inch on doors, something like that. Where the rear doors were, this is part of the rear door, but this piece here which would go over the top of the window and run all the way down the roof line. So these are all modified and made up. So I thought I'm just going to have a go. So I got the veneer. So I got some American walnut burr, and I think it's Nigerian elm, but I'm not quite sure on the white here. But I didn't want to keep it grained like it was originally. And this grain here, it's a goldy colour. It looks absolutely gorgeous when it's got the clear coat. I've been sanding it back, so it's got 4 coats on. So the first 2 coats sank heavily into the veneer, which I thought it would do. I was going to get some shellac, but I didn't know how it would go with the clear coat, 2K clear coat I put on. So I thought I'd abstain from that and just clear coat it. When it's dried, flat it back, clear coat it. So like I say, I think it's got 4 coats on. So 2 first, and then once I'd sanded them back, 2 more to get it looking better. And then I'm going to put another 2 coats on just to build it up, and then they can be sanded and polished up. Troubles I had with the veneering, I really should have bought a vacuum press bag for doing this. I've had blisters and all sorts coming through. I think I might have been a bit sparing with the glue, because I found that the glue was coming through the veneer, and I thought it might affect the way the clear coat goes on. It'd be sort of like patchy, so maybe I've gone a bit too sparingly with the glue. But a number of problems, like I say, not being able to give it equal pressure to compact it. I also found with the big flat surface areas, the big pieces I was doing, I really should have dampened the wood down and put it under a press weight to totally make it flat, because it wasn't totally flat when I got it. So that was another thing that I've learned through doing this. So there's those. Let's go over here and see the other bits. The dashboard top was my biggest nightmare. I made a vacuum press bag for this, and yeah, what can I say? I punctured it while I was under vacuum, and then I had to put the pump back on, and I was like, oh goodness me. So I've had a right job with this. So if it turns out okay, I'll be happy. If it don't, then that's going to have to be redone again. It doesn't look bad, but there's some areas. But if people pick it up, I'm going to redo it. It's as simple as that. And you can see where I've been taping it, and I've got some mold grips on it and stuff to flatten some areas that's blistered. When I've been sanding it back, it's blistered, and so I've got to re-glue those. So I bought some syringes for doing those. So yeah, I've had a right nightmare with it. I've enjoyed it, but yeah, it's been certainly a learning curve. And that's about it really. Car's looking okay. Centre console what I made. Not sure what colour I'm thinking of the colour interior. Going dark green, roof lining, carpets, door cards with black seats, but I'm not fully convinced yet. I was sort of thinking of just keeping it one colour code. I've been looking at some classic cars and stuff, and they do seem to, some of them stay by one colour, some of them don't, some do it two particular colours. But anyway, so there you go. I know I've been promising for some time to do a video, but like I said, I didn't feel that I had much to show, and I didn't want to just keep flooding loads of videos onto my YouTube channel just for the sake of making a video and people getting bored. I'm grateful for all the positive comments which I have about the ideas that I've got and what I'm trying to achieve. So thank you very much for all that, and I hope you enjoy this video. And hopefully next one will have moved on quite considerably from this one, and mostly interior will be done. Anyway, enjoy.